Welcome to JIL Training Solution. This course is going to teach you how to merge your data that's in Excel to a Word document. So let's get started. As you see on the screen, I have a list of my clients who have an outstanding balance and I want my money. So I am going to merge this information to a general Word document requesting that my client sends me the outstanding balance. So the first thing that you need to do is create your data in Excel. But what's really important is that you make sure that this first row, and this is number 1, that you label them correctly. So first name, last name, address, city, state, zip, amount due. The column headers represent the data that's in each column. So now that I have typed this information and saved it, I want to merge this information to my Word document. So I have a general Word document, as you can see from your screen, that have no client information. It's just a general letter, it says dear to no one, and I need to say dear so and so. It has no address and it does not have the balance. So instead of having to type up a letter for each one of my clients, what I'm going to do is just merge that information, because that information is already in Excel. If it was in Outlook, I could use Outlook. So there's different data sources that you can use, but in this instance we're going to use Microsoft Excel. But say for instance, if you wanted to send out invitations to your mailing list that's in Outlook, that's also an option. So for this illustration, we're just only going to be using Excel as our data source. So to get started, you need to click on the mailing button on the ribbon bar. Then you need to click the Start Mail Merge button, left click, and then you're going to click on letters, because that's what we're going to do. However, if you wanted to do email messages, you can send a email blast. If you wanted to do envelopes, let's just say you have a invite to a child's party and you don't want to have to write all the invites out, you can type them up or mail or take the data from your Outlook contacts and create envelopes. You can also do labels in a directory. So we're going to do letters. Then we're going to select our recipients. So if I click on select recipients, the options is type a new list, which you can just start from scratch, use an existing list, which is what I have in Excel, or choose from your Outlook contacts. But we're going to use an existing list. So now I need to navigate to the actual folder. So I have saved my folders to my C drive under Mail Merge, and it's called Mail Merge Excel. So you would select whatever the name of the Excel document that you saved your data in. I'm going to select open, and then it's going to show me, in my instance I only have one sheet, and so it gives me the sheet name, and so I'm going to select OK. So now that my information is, my Word document is connected to the Excel, and I know because now I have the option to edit the recipient list. And so I'm going to expand this document by going down to the bottom right, left clicking my mouse and dragging it over. And so here's a list of my data. From here I have the option of filtering out records that I do not want in this letter. So say for instance, if I say I've spoken to Stacy and she said she's going to mail me my $1,250, so I don't need to send her a letter, so I would uncheck her name. Or say for instance, I said I don't want to send a letter to anyone who owes me less or equal up to $500 or less. So I can filter on amount or any of the fields. So if I select this arrow and I select Advanced, I will get the filtering and sorting option. Under Field, I'm going to select the field name that I want to filter on. So I'm going to scroll down to Amount Due, left click, and then the comparison or the equator that I'm going to use is greater than or equal $500. And so what this statement says is that actually, I'm just going to say greater than, because if I do greater than or equal, it's going to give me the $500 and anything that's over that. I just want to say greater than $500 so it can exclude the $500 item. And so with how this reads is amount due that's greater than $500. If I select OK, now you notice that the record of the item, the record is missing, or not missing, is not displaying the record that have an amount that's $500 or less. However, for this illustration, I want to send a letter to all of my clients that owe me money. So I'm going to click on Stacy to reactivate that record. I'm going to go down to click the amount, scroll down to advance, and left click. I'm going to left click the clear all button to remove the filter. I'm going to left click OK and left click OK to confirm that this is the list that I'm going to send to. Alright, so now I'm ready to insert the information into my Word document. So I'm going to go right here under November so that I can insert the address. Now there's several ways of doing this here, and I'm going to show you. The first one is address block. If you labeled your columns in Excel with common headers that represent an address block, it would automatically pick up in Word. So for instance, first name, last name, address, city, state, zip. Other field names could be address to, suite, country, suffix. Those labels or those names, Microsoft Word picks those up and realize that it goes into the address box. So if you look here under preview, it says Michael Washington, which was my client, his address, city, state, zip. It has also set it in a format that looks like an address. If I left click on match fields, so if in this instance, let's just say I had a field for address to, but I called it STE, and Microsoft Word didn't know what that was, and so it didn't populate it under the required address block fields. So in that instance, if I wanted it to appear here under address to, I will select the drop down menu, left click, and then I will select the field name that I wanted to go in that actual slot. But for this instance, not match works. I only want to do first name, last name, address, city, state, zip. So I'm going to select OK. Actually, I'm going to cancel out of this because that's not what we're going to use here. And then I'm going to hit cancel because I want to show you the other way to actually insert field information. So the other option is it says insert merge field. So here I can select first name, space. I'm going to hit the space on the keyboard. Then I'm going to left click the arrow to select the last name, left click, enter, so that I can go down to the next line where I would like to submit address, enter, then give me city. So I'm going to select again city, space. I'm hitting the space key, then I'm going to go get zip, space, and then I'm going to select the zip code. So here is my address. Now, because my Microsoft Word setting has spacing, I want to remove the spacing here because I don't want that for the address, because it's not gonna look correctly. It's not gonna look accurate with the spaces. So if I highlight, left click, so let me just do that again. If I take my mouse right in front of the bracket, I hold down the left key, and I drag all the way down to the end, it highlights my screen. Then I want to click on the Home tab, and here on the paragraph group, if I select the line and paragraph spacing arrow, it gives me options. I want to select, you could just do one 1.5 to however you want the spacing. But for this illustration, because I want to show you some other options, I'm going to left click on line spacing options, and here if I wanted to indent, change the alignment, make it an outline, or right indentation or left indentation, all of these settings can be done here. So but for this instance, I want to say before a space show 0, after a space 0, and I want to make sure this says single, and then I'm going to left click OK. So now if you notice, my mail merge is an appropriate layout where there's no spacing. So I have date, address, reference, and then now I want to put a greeting. So I want to say dear such and such, and so it all depends. This is a personal preference. If you want to do dear Mr. and the person's name, or dear sir, you have many options, but in my instance I'm going to say dear in the first person name, because my business is not that formal and first name is more personal, and I like to be I'm a personal person. So if I go I want to go back to the mailing tab on the ribbon bar, and then I'm going to go to, first I want to make sure that my cursor is right where I want to insert the field, and so it says dear, and then you see my cursor is blinking here. So this is where I want to actually insert first name. So if I select the drop down menu under insert merge field, I'm going to select first name, and so now I have dear, and it's going to populate with the first name of my clients. So lastly, I need to enter the amount. So each client owes me a different amount, and so I want to put the amount right here, right in front of the $sign. So I put my cursor there. I select the drop down menu under insert merge field, select, I want to merge down to amount due, and now there's a space between the amount due and the period, which I do not want. So I'm just going to hit the delete key, and then that's going to remove that space. So now I'm ready to merge my letter. I have the date, I have my address block, I'm addressing I have my greeting, and the amount that's owed. And so I want all the letters to populate. But I want to first look at it before I actually print it out. So here it says finish and merge. So if you click on the drop down arrow here, and then you want to select edit individual documents, but if you're confident and you're like, I know I've done this a couple times so far and I'm ready to print it out, you can just automatically print it. If you had an email address in part that was part of your data source, you can actually just send out the email address. But in this instance, we're just going to edit the individual documents so that you can see how they look. So if I left clicked on that, here I have the options to merge all the documents, merge only the current one, or merge arrange. But I want to do all of them because there's only 4 records that I'm merging. So I'm going to select OK, and then it's going to merge it. And so as you see, now it says the date, Michael Washington, his address. It says dear Michael, and then the amount that he owed was $500. Then if you go, the next letter is to Jacob. It says dear Jacob, he owes $1,000. If I continue to go down to the next page, it's going to say Melissa, her information, and she owes me $2,000. And then lastly, Stacy's information, dear Stacy, and the amount that she owes me. And at this point, I can print out these documents and mail them out to the individual person so that they can have them. And so that's how you merge a general document in Word to your Excel source. So that concludes this course. If you like the course, please click on like. If you want some more information, you can email me at education@jilss.com. That's education@jilss.com, and I look forward to talking to you again on my next course. Thank you.